Welcome to this episode of Destination Dare. Every community in the Outer Banks has a story to tell, and this show brings that information to life. From Dare County history to current events, from government services to local profiles, we keep you entertained, informed, and up to date. First up, the Town of Duck's annual Jazz Festival preparation.
Planning for the Duck Jazz Festival. Surprisingly, we start immediately after one jazz festival ends. We clean up everything and we get to work planning the next year.
47 ducks.
So one jazz festival ends Columbus Day weekend in October, and by November 1st, we start listening to artists. Some of these artists send us their submissions, some of them we find online, and some of them are recommended by people who come to the Duck Jazz Festival.
Yo, can you turn that down? Some of us are trying to work.
While we're listening to artists and picking out ones that we like, we start thinking about a theme maybe for the next year. That might be a highlighted style of jazz, it might be a highlighted instrument, or something linked to something that's going on in the state or the country. So this year's theme is linked to the North Carolina Arts Council Year of Music. Many of our highlighted artists this year come from North Carolina or are paying tribute to a North Carolina artist. The Duck Jazz Festival was created in 2006 as a free, family-friendly, non-ticketed festival. How do we keep it that way? Well, we reach out to sponsors and grant makers. That process usually begins in January and February, the same year as that fall's festival. You can check out all of the sponsors and grant makers that keep this festival free on our website at duckjazz.com. How do we make everything come together on the day of the Duck Jazz Festival? It's all about logistics. All of the things that you would never think about when you plan a festival. We have everything from renting tables and table linens, to getting food for the bands, to making sure we have security. We also need posters, advertising, brochures, signage, microphones, speakers, music stands, lights, and so much more. As much as this sounds all about me, we could never make this happen without the entire Town of Duck staff, including public safety, and all of our volunteers. They help plan and execute the entire Duck Jazz Festival, from pedestrian safety to selling merchandise to even taking out the trash. Once the festival starts, we offer outreach and education to Dare County High School jazz students. One of the festival artists performs a workshop for Dare County students. These include jazz students from First Flight High School and Manio. To give the First Flight High School Honors Jazz Band a taste of performing in a large festival, we have them perform in our amphitheater stage every year. So now that you know the scoop, what's on your Duck Jazz Festival checklist? We have a few tips for you. Visit duckjazz.com to find festival info and performer lineup. Follow Duck Jazz Festival on Facebook and Duck Jazz Fest on Twitter. Book your accommodations. Check out jazz-themed events and promotions throughout Duck leading up to the festival. Pack a picnic, a lawn chair, a cooler, and sunblock, and head to Duck. Have fun listening to live jazz music in the beautiful Ducktown Park. Make your plans now for Columbus Day weekend and the 2019 Duck Jazz Festival.
Next up, what's growing in your backyard in Southern Shores?
Southern Shores is a very unique environment. It is a collision of different climates and different pockets of plants and animals. The zones of a barrier island are all represented in Southern Shores. We have dunes, we have the ocean side of the dune, the wayward side of the dune, we have maritime forest, and we have marshland. So it's very unique. So the really interesting part of that is we have species that exist together that probably wouldn't exist together in another area inland. So we have some of our southernmost species, this is their northernmost range, and we have northern species that may exist much further south, but they collide with those southern species that have come way up the coast. And it's changing all the time. We have lots of storms, we have warm currents and cold currents. Some years are very cold, some years, as you know, are mild, which is why we love to live here. The species that are very interesting are some of the ones that exist here and nowhere else. Like we have a Yopon holly that has orange berries. It doesn't exist anywhere else. It is used in ornamental gardens, kind of like a boxwood would be. And the natives used to use this tree as a sort of ipecac, and it has high caffeine, and soldiers in the Civil War used to use it as a tea. We have live oaks. Live oaks are just a fascinating tree. They can be shaped and twisted by the salt and the wind. They're a very hard wood. They're slow growing. In fact, old Ironsides was made from live oak. So something else you might find on your property is the American persimmon. It is a delicious fruit if you like persimmon, if you like to make jams or jellies or pies. Look for it in the fall. It's a beautiful fruit. It looks like a giant orange yellow berry. It is also a favorite of wildlife. It's not a big tree, so this might be a fun tree to keep when you're clearing your property. So one of the most unique and fabled trees you might find on your property, and the first time you see it, you will want to cut it down. It has huge spikes on it, but resist the temptation, keep the tree. It's a host for giant swallowtails. The toothache tree or prickly ash is definitely a tree you want to keep. It has some lore with it as well. The Native Americans used to use it to numb their gums. There's a xanthoxylum phytochemical within the bark, and chewing on the bark or twigs would numb the mouth or create a tingling, numbing sensation, thus the name toothache tree. The Loblolly Pine is an important lumber tree even to this day, and it is used for pulp and lumber. So very important tree. You'll find it in your backyard. It has an enormously long taproot when it's young, and it grows very tall, and from 1917 to the mid-1930s, it was the primary product of a huge lumber operation right here in Southern Shores. Tram roads ran all the way through Duck Woods to Gingite Creek, where the logs were loaded onto boats. So these are just some of the more interesting species you'll see, the trees, the big things, the things that we want shade for and that we like to play under. There's lots of different species that you'll find in your backyard, and I encourage you to just hunt it out and kind of be aware of what is there before you start hacking away or purchasing new plants. We have blueberries, we have lots of different shrubs, wax myrtle, things that you wouldn't think in the jungle setting that you've inherited that is beautiful, but they really are beautiful plants. And native plants that attract wildlife, butterflies, lots of beautiful natural landscaping plants. So be creative in your thinking when you move here. So I encourage you to explore your own backyard, hike through Southern Shores, get to know it. It's a beautiful place to live and play.
Kitty Hawk Ocean Rescue trains with the Coast Guard.
We work with our partners to achieve today's objective of finding a stand-up paddleboarder that was overdue. Our partner in this exercise was the United States Coast Guard out of Oregon Inlet, also the Coast Guard Auxiliary, which is an extension of them, and working together for one common goal, which is public safety in the waters and around the town of Kitty Hawk.
We are the Coast Guard Auxiliary. We support the Coast Guard. That's our job. To most people, we look just like them, but we're in our private boats, or we have a boat that the Coast Guard has loaned us. We have just completed our first drill with Kitty Hawk Fire Department's Ocean Rescue. The idea was to combine agency resources, Coast Guard and Ocean Rescue, and set up a command schedule so that if we are called to a SAR, search and rescue, we can come up with a plan that everyone can follow. What Ocean Rescue did was send one of their people out on a paddleboard And then they called it into Station Oregon Inlet Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard relayed it up here to us. We called our crews, standby SAR crews, and we were out there. I think our first boat got there in half an hour, and that came out of Heritage Point, Roanoke Island. Second boat, Oregon Inlet Coast Guard, got there in 50 minutes, and our boat got there in just about 1 hour.
We do these type of drills not only with the Coast Guard and Coast Guard Auxiliary. We've done it with the air crews out of Elizabeth City. We do it with our neighboring towns and jurisdictions. We all are in this together as in public safety, whether it's fire, water related, ocean related. We constantly look for efforts to train together because that's how we get better.
This was the first time we ever did it. And even though there were mistakes made, getting a PIW out of the water within an hour of the call is almost unheard of. That was our first try. I know we can do better than that, depending on where the person is.
One of the things that we recognize is that, working together, we all get proficient. And I like to think about it as the Kitty Hawk Ocean Rescue motto we use. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit. And that's only established by training with your partners.
Learn the in and outs of beach driving in Kill Devil Hills. Beach driving in the town of Kill Devil Hills runs from October 1st until April 30th. Permits can be purchased at the cashier's desk at Town Hall at 102 Town Hall Drive. Payment can be made by cash, check, credit, debit, or money order. The Town Hall is open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Seasonal permits are just $25, while temporary 14-day ones are $10. Seasonal permits should be placed on your front bumper on the left side, while temporary permits should be on the driver's side windshield.
In order to purchase a permit, drivers will need their vehicle registration, license plate number, VIN number, proof of insurance, and driver's license. The vehicles driving on the beach need to be registered, inspected, and insured. They should also be four-wheel or all-wheel drive vehicles with clearance. Commercial fishermen holding a valid state commercial fishing license are exempt. Stop by the Town Hall for a free permit. Beach driving is allowed 1/2 hour before sunrise to 1/2 hour after sunset daily. For good measure, follow your vehicle's manufacturer's instructions for tire pressure for beach driving. Let some air out if need be and enjoy your trip.
When driving on the beach, please be very mindful of your surroundings. Stay alert and aware of pedestrians. Like driving on the road, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. Ocean Rescue prefers you to drive closer to 15 miles per hour, which helps you observe your surroundings. Please be mindful not to drive on the toe of the dune or private property. Before driving on the beach, you can review the town's beach driving packet, which has tips, maps, and driving regulations, including the town of Nags Head's information as well. Nags Head permits can be purchased at Nags Head Town Hall or local tackle shops. Exceptions are first responders, ocean rescue, law enforcement, fire, as well as local, state, and federal agencies. Please drive safely and enjoy your time at the beach.
For more information on beach driving in Kill Devil Hills, visit kdhnc.com. For beach driving in other areas of the Outer Banks, visit the Currituck Outer Banks Welcome Center or Corolla Visitor Center, or visit beach permits at currituckcountync.gov. For driving on Cape Hatteras National Seashore, visit recreation.gov or call 1-877-444-6777. Exploring Gaudi Park in Nags Head with Mayor Ben Cahoon. Two bald guys walking through the park.
Yeah, two bald Benjamins walking through the park.
So in our first episode, we're here at Gaudi Park in the town of Nags Head, and we're with none other than the mayor Mr. Ben Cahoon.
Morning,
How are
Betty.
you,
Welcome
sir?
to Dowdy Park. I'm doing
thanks
awesome.
for having me.
Sure, man.
Let's take a walk through Dowdy Park.
So Dowdy Park was an amusement park. That's where the name comes from. The Dowdy family owned it years ago. The town had an opportunity to buy the property. We established a citizens planning committee to talk about what we wanted to see in a park. And we opened it 2 years ago.
Now, talk to me a little bit about what we have here in Dowdy Park.
Okay, we have an arcade, and today under the arcade we have the farmers market going on today. That's part of what that was designed for. We have a fantastic playground that's suitable for children of all ages. In the distance across the lawn we have a band shell, and we have regular Wednesday night concerts here throughout the summer. We have the lawn, and then this spring we opened phase 2, which is on the other end of the park, and that's where we added some other features like the basketball court, bocce courts, pickleball, horseshoe pitches, and another opportunity for an art installation. Temporarily, that's planted in a pollinator garden right now.
So talk to me a little bit maybe about other things that are happening right now in the town of Nags Head.
We just finished our big beach nourishment project. Wrapped that up actually a little bit early this year. We were very fortunate. We didn't have a lot of storms. Everything went really smoothly, and now we have a big, beautiful, wide beach for our visitors to enjoy, but also to protect the town from the storms that are inevitably going to come, this fall and many years to come.
Gotcha. Here's another one for you. Why are you the mayor? What drove you to that?
Well, I've been involved in the town. I've been an architect practicing here in the town of Nags Head for 30 years. Been very active in the community affairs, served on a number of committees, and there were some things that I wanted to see through as the mayor, making sure that Dowdy Park was cared for and activated and didn't become kind of a white elephant here. Our new comprehensive land use plan, which opens up some new opportunities in the town for housing and fixes some other technical issues that we had with the old ordinance. So we cleaned all of that up, and I was on those committees and really wanted to see that process through and see that get finished and adopted, and we just did that a couple of meetings ago.
Nice. Now I know for a fact that you ride everywhere on your bike.
I do.
You've got a little license plate on the back that says mayor.
I do.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm big into cycling. I really love sustainable living. I commute everywhere on my bike. I ride it to work every day, unless it's raining or it's icy. And then I leave the bike at home. But I probably commute 2,500 miles a year, roughly.
Yeah.
And really enjoy it. It gives me a neat opportunity to have a different perspective on the town by riding around, and I get to say hello to people, and I also make a bit of a statement about.
You do, yeah. What do you see, maybe the future of Nags Head in your view? Just some things maybe you want to see.
We have a significant workforce housing issue right now that we're wrestling with. Nags Head's always been very innovative and thoughtful in problem solving, and I think that we will handle that issue in a really creative way.
Nice. So where are we now? Tell me about what we're looking at here, this gorgeous looking farmer's market.
So we are right in the middle of our farmer's market today. Under the arcade back here behind us, we have a number of vendors, and out in front of us we have vendors under a number of tents. It's been tremendously successful. It's grown. We started this last year with once a month, and our vendors really are the ones who wanted to see twice a month, and so we went to twice a month this year. It's a service to our visitors, obviously, but also a lot of locals out here, and it's a really fun thing to see.
Just another great asset to have here at Dowdy Park.
It is, and one of the things I really want Nags Head to continue to be is a place that's attractive for young families. We're right next to the school here, so the school kids who go to Nags Head Elementary can come over and enjoy the park, and you see that every morning and every afternoon on the school days.
So, Mr. Mayor, it's been a pleasure.
It has been a pleasure.
hanging out
I've
with you
really
today at
enjoyed
Davies
this.
Park.
It's been a lot of fun, always is.
Yeah, sure. So you're gonna bike home here, I see.
Well, actually, I'm gonna bike to work.
Okay, I got you. I'll let you go.
Okay, great, thank you.
Check out summer events in the town of Manteo.
Dare Day is the official kickoff to the summer season for folks not just in Manteo, but all across Dare County. It's a rite of passage for kids downtown on Dare Day to jump off the Corame Bass Night Bridge. For the town of Manteo, Dare Day is really an opportunity to highlight our businesses in our most commercial district, to invite our neighbors and our visitors to come downtown and experience what Manteo has to offer. Dare Day always takes place on the first Saturday in June at the Manteo waterfront in downtown Manteo.
The Independence Day 4th of July celebration here in the town of Manteo is the cornerstone of events, of crowd gathering events here in town. And thousands of people gather in the Manteo waterfront. The fun started about 3 p.m. on July 4th with local music, some fun and dancing, and some really wacky contests that got very competitive in the end. So that was quite a treat for everybody to see. And of course we have fireworks to end the evening. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our co-sponsors, the Outer Banks Visitors Bureau and the Roanoke Island Volunteer Fire Department for keeping us safe during the event.
We are downtown in Manteo, North Carolina on our waterfront marina. For our regatta today we have 4 different types of boats competing. We have our Optimist program, which are our youth sailors ages 7 to 14. We have our 420 program, which are our older sailors ages 13 to 17 and 18. We have our Topaz group, which is another youth group. And then we have our Sunfish, which have people from ages 13 up to 80 years old out today. So for Manteo, I think this is a really great event for us because it's a great wrap up to the end of our summer. We've had our sailing program going strong for 7 weeks now, so this is kind of our big finale when all the kids get to come back and have a chance to get out on the water and show some of the skills they've mastered.
This is National Night Out here at Manteo at Cartwright Park. It's celebrated the first Tuesday of every August, where the police department gets a chance to form a relationship with the community. Everybody knows that the police department can't be everywhere all at once, and we need the community to come together to provide us information to help us solve crime. We have several events during the year, but this is the summertime. The kids are out of school, gives us a chance to form that relationship with the children, and part of the several events that we host throughout the summer.
Our market runs from the second week of May all the way to the first week of October. We're here from 8 o'clock until 12 o'clock in the afternoon. We have a variety of many things. We have our fresh produce, baking goods, and also plenty of crafts as well. We have a vicinity of around 35 to 40 vendors every single week. It brings all of our locals and also some of our tourists to this area. We're located in downtown Manteo at Washington Creek Park, and we have grown every single year.
Today's another great summer event in the town of Manteo. It's our 6th annual kids fishing tournament. We have about 70 kids out fishing on the dock all along the Manteo boardwalk. So the tournament's open to kids 4 to 17 years old. There's no charge. It's kind of an end of the season here at the Maritime Museum too. It kind of brings out all the kids in town. Their parents come out, spend a couple hours out, and catch a little fish.
We host 2 tournaments a year at Pirates Cove. The first tournament we have is the Alice Kelly Ladies Only Memorial, and we have about 100 boats for that. We raise about $50,000 for local charities, and then we have the Pirates Cove Billfish Tournament, which is 36 years running, and it is a wonderful tournament, well sought after in the East Coast, and we raise about $100,000 with that for the local community. We love Manteo, it's our hometown. There's no better place in the world to fish. Year-round sport fishing, good tournament fishing, and great fishing for your family and your kids.
We are privileged to host the New World Festival of the Arts every year here in downtown Manteo. This is a show that has a long history. It's been going on for 38 years. It was originally launched to help celebrate the 400th anniversary of Roanoke Island, and our focus is fine arts. The goal of this show is to celebrate artists from all over the East Coast, so it's not always just local artists here. In fact, we have folks coming in from Pennsylvania, Florida, pretty much all over the eastern half of the United States. It's a 2-day show right in the middle of the summer. We have about 65 to 80 artists every year that are stretched all the way around the boardwalk on the picturesque waterfront in Manio.
Learn more about Dare County's Capital Investment Fund.
I'm Dustin Peel, purchasing agent for Dare County, and I'll be your host today as we explore some of the financial happenings in Dare County. On July 1st, Dare County started its new budget year, and as part of that budget, Dare County Commissioners adopted a significant and beneficial change to the budget structure by implementing a capital investment fund as well as a debt affordability model. If that sounds overly complex, it really isn't. The Capital Investment Fund is basically a pool of resources dedicated for funding projects that cost $50,000 or more. Think of it as how an individual would utilize a savings account. If I know that I need to purchase a vehicle in the next 10 years, I can go ahead now and start allocating resources to that fund. The debt affordability model is a financial management tool used for long-range financial planning. It's similar to how an individual would go about buying a vehicle or putting a down payment on a house or any other large expense. If I know that I need a vehicle, I first need to understand what my needs are for that vehicle. Once I have the resources and I know what my needs are, it's easy for me to understand how much more money I need to save or borrow to fulfill that need. That's what the debt affordability model does for Dare County.
The model benefits the county because we have something that is significant to maintain or even increase our debt ratings, which will lower interest costs. Planning over a longer period of time gives us more ability to meet unforeseen events such as a natural disaster or a recession. And finally, the model improves the planning process. The College of the Albemarle is a good example. Instead of addressing one building within the next couple of years, we're now planning for an entire campus over several years. Dare County is one of only a handful of local governments that have gone in this direction, and I believe it's the right direction.
With the Capital Investment Fund and the debt affordability model in place, the county has the ability to forecast many years out in the future and start allocating resources now to future projects such as beach nourishment and facility enhancements. With these two tools combined, it's a great way for the county to ensure they have the resources available to fulfill the future needs of Dare County citizens. Some of the projects that are included in the county's 2019 and 2020 capital improvements plan are school funding, where approximately $1,275,000 has been set aside for Dare County school updates. These include air handler replacements for Kitty Hawk Elementary School and First Flight Middle School, a new gym floor, bleachers, and exterior paint and siding for First Flight Middle School, a field house at Manio High School, and field house renovations as well as rooftop replacement units at Cape Hatteras Secondary School of Coastal Studies. Construction of the new College of the Albemarle Dare County campus, where an architect has been hired to design the new building, and a total of $9,500,000 has been set aside by the county to complete the project, with $1.5 million coming from state bond funds. An estimated $2 million for the construction of the new Dare County Animal Shelter located off of Airport Road on Roanoke Island. $5 million has been set aside for the planned expansion of the Department of Health and Human Services building in Manio, and approximately $1.5 million will be provided to the county's emergency medical service program to purchase new equipment and upgrade and replace older equipment. The new capital investment fund also allocates funding for 3 major maintenance items, like roof and heating and air conditioning replacements for all county-owned buildings, as well as major maintenance for Dare Medflight Airbus helicopter. I'm here in Manio at EMS Station 2 with Chief Jenny Collins. Jenny, I understand you have some projects in the capital improvement plan this year. Could you tell me a little more about those?
I sure can. We have a couple of projects, and within each project they're multifaceted. One is computers that put mobile data computing and automated vehicle locators into the front of the ambulance. Allows us to very quickly get the information from the dispatcher through the computer, not having to totally rely on the spoken word over the radios. The other project that we have has to do with our cardiac monitors and defibrillators. It's upgrading our current devices to new technology, which is great for us. It gives us the cutting edge that's out there and allows us to provide cardiac care at the very front edge of what is out there and available for us in the industry. In addition, it's going to be implementing a device called a Lucas device, which is an external cardiac compression device. Instead of having humans perform CPR, the device can do it, which is more automated, it's regular, and it's safer for our personnel. Plus, giving CPR is very physically demanding, where we have to switch out rescuers every 2 minutes. Having the device on doing it, there's no interruptions at all.
Well, it sounds like those in Dare County, if they need the emergency medical services you provide, they'll be well taken care of.
We always try to take care of every patient to the best of our ability. This new equipment supported by the county is allowing us to do that even better.
It's fantastic. I'm here with Keith Parker at the Dare County Schools Administration Building. Keith, how are you?
Hey Dustin, I'm well. How are you?
Doing very well. I understand that the county has set aside some significant funds for Dare County facilities maintenance. What does that mean for the school system?
Yeah, that's right. Well, first of all, we're extremely grateful for the money that comes from the CIP that funds directly improvement projects we have here in the schools. We have amazing facilities here, some of the best in the entire state, and it is money that comes from the CIP that allows us to continue to maintain these beautiful facilities. So we're extremely grateful for that. That money is going to directly fund some improvement projects at Manio High School, First Light Middle School, and Cape Hatteras Secondary School.
That's fantastic. It's glad to see that the school system is a big priority for the Dare County administrators.
Absolutely, no doubt about it.
I'm now here at the Department of Health and Human Services building with Director Sheila Davies. Sheila, I understand you have some projects in the capital improvement plan. Could you tell me more about those?
We do, yes, we're excited. Our part of the capital improvement plan is an expansion of our current facility as well as remodeling existing space in both the health and social services buildings.
Could you tell me more about how this will impact services?
Yes, so part of our expansion here, the new construction, is building a brand new lobby. That's going to connect what's currently a standalone social services building and a standalone health building. This is going to provide us the opportunity to have a no wrong door access to services. Any individual can walk in, and whether you need health services, social services, or veteran services, we're going to be able to connect you and direct you to those services. Additionally, we're going to be doing a major renovation of our lab and clinical area, which is going to enable us to serve more people and provide basically expanded clinical services to the community.
It sounds like the citizens of Dare County will be well taken care of.
Yes.
I'm here with interim shelter manager Christy Rothrock at the site of the future Dare County Animal Shelter. Christy, you must be excited about this project. Could you tell me more about how this will benefit the animals?
Yes, we are going to have a lot more space, which is awesome. At our current shelter, we tend to flood a lot when it storms. The shelter staff will be able to sleep at night knowing that our dogs are, dry and safe. This will also provide a new space for people to come to adopt their animals.